Good morning, my friends, and welcome to the 10-minute book talk, where three best-selling authors talk all things bookish with you for 10 short and sweet minutes every week. I am here with my friends, Rachel Linden, wave Rachel, and Katherine Reay. And today, you may have guessed, because I'm holding up this book I've been fangirling over like nobody's business, Beach Town by the amazing Susan Wiggs, who is joining us today. Susan, welcome to the 10-minute book talk.
Thank you. This is believe me, the nicest 10 minutes of my day, because today is going to be a wrecking day, and we all know
Oh, I love it. Okay, and my husband is walking through in his bathrobe. I am coming to
I'm girling anything.
you know what? Anything can happen here
on the 10-minute book talk. So true.
on the 10-minute book talk. Okay, I don't know. Do we just keep going?
We do.
Sure.
We do. I love it. Yeah.
Okay.
This is life. The show must go on.
He's made a couple of cameos in the book talk over the years.
Very nice.
Anyway, all right. Let's get back on track. Let's talk about Beach Town. I love this book, but Susan, just give our audience a little idea. Tell us a little bit about your book.
Just a little thumbnail. It's obviously, my homage to the beach and surfing, but it's also, I wanted to write this time a book that sort of spanned a character's whole life. And it's a coming of age from the moment she graduates high school until, way into her adult years. And I was obsessed with those commencement speeches where the kid, the valedictorian goes off script. And because I had to do my valedictorian speech a million years ago, and you have to submit the speech and get it all approved and have everybody, sign off on it. And here's what you're going to say. And you're not going to say one word more or less. And due to a really, really horrible, tragic hazing incident that happens at her school, she throws her speech out the window and tells the truth. And it does not go well for her and shoots her off. It's also about we all have had, or we all have been that young adult in our life who just impulsively does something, and damn the consequences. And that's kind of who Nikki is in this book. But she's also got a heart of gold. She was raised in an Airstream trailer on a surf beach in California. And, hence that really kind of yummy cover telling a story there. And it's kind of I would say it's a coming of age in a whole life. And she confronts some, serious and silly, and has her ups and downs. So that's my thumbnail. It's bigger than a nail, but whatever.
But it's so enticing. So I love this. I haven't read it yet, but Marie has been fangirling over it. So I'm definitely going to get it because I need that in my life. And I'm just so fascinated by this, this setting, iconic beach town, California, surfing, which is such a fun, like girls surfing, which is so fascinating. Do you surf? And if yes or no, how did you do? Like, did you watch disastrous commencement speeches? Did you take surfing lessons? Where did you get this inspiration?
I did. I watched a lot of disastrous commencement speeches. A favorite was a woman named, she was in Texas. I think her name is Paxton Smith. And she went off script to just excoriate the governor of Texas, Greg Abbott, for his policies, his anti-woman, anti-healthcare policies, and some other things. And they couldn't figure out how to turn her microphone off. And I think she ended up getting mostly a standing ovation. Of course, there's going to be some boos. And so I was a fan of that. And as for surfing, I was always interested to watch surfing. And then a couple of years ago, we went to surf camp. And they guarantee you go for a week. It was it's like, grown-up camp. And they guarantee you will be up and surfing during the week. And they have these, surf Sherpas who teach you how to do it. And indeed, I did learn to surf. And what I learned was it's really hard and it's really, really elemental. And it's, there's choices that you don't get to have when you're surfing. And I loved the, the sink or swim aspect of it, literally. And so I thought surfing was a great metaphor for somebody, navigating the ups and downs of her life.
Yeah. So, okay. I just gotta say, I thought you were cool, but you just went up another
Yeah.
is incredible, Susan.
This is a big stretch for a writer to be cool.
I don't know. I think those glasses set you there.
Yeah,
Right?
Very cool.
surf camp. So
Okay,
All right.
I'm going to go back to, as you were talking about that impulsive choice. So Nikki does make that impulsive choice for good, right reasons, and it has incredible consequences, which in your book feel very personal. You have done an amazing job to make it her story. However, there is a universality to it in the sense that we can have that impulsive moment and there are consequences. Share a little bit about that, because I took both from her situation, you know, and I know that was intended because you're just that good. So,
You know, fiction is so challenging to write, to make it easy to read, because real people are way too complicated to work in a fictional novel. And so I was always really mindful of making her relatable. Oh, I can see somebody who does that. I've done that myself. I've got a friend. And so, you know, somebody who just goes herring off to Australia and, you know, joins the World Surf League with a guy she barely knows. Not that I've done that, but I've made, you know, youthful decisions that might have been worked out better if I had more consideration for things. And but also I feel like she's an old soul. You know, she takes life as it comes and ultimately learns to manage herself. But it's definitely a journey. I was really, as I was writing, I was following probably one of my favorite story structures, which is the hero's journey.
I love that one too.
Yeah, and the book that opened that up to me is a book called The Writer's Journey by Christopher Vogler. But it's just a sort of a natural progression through the steps of a journey that shapes it in a really compelling narrative.
Yeah. Well, you made a compelling narrative.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
So compelling. I mean, really, I have like stopped people in the bookstore and said, you have to get Welcome to Beach Town. You're not leaving without it. Something else I loved that you did in this book. Well, first of all, I mean, really, this cover. Okay. As a person who spends, when I can't figure out what to write, I shop for RVs on the internet, you know, as one does. Oh yeah, again,
so we can see it.
These classic Airstreams. So Nikki grows up in she's got a single dad who's kind of a surf bum guy who's super cool. I loved him. And she grows up in this trailer park with all these classic Airstreams. It's really famous among, you know, the surf set, right? And it's iconic, but the kind of fancier, wealthier people in town are not fans of this setting. I just thought there was so much here about haves versus have-nots and gentrification. And just tell us more about that. I feel like, yeah, I'll shut up. You just talk.
Yeah, the town is called Alara Cove, and it comes from a Navy acronym. Up here in Puget Sound, we get a lot of that. As low as reasonably achievable, and that's a radiation level. And so there used to be like a fuel island near there, and so they called it Alara Cove. It's been cleaned up there, and so much so that it's like the playground of the rich. She's a charity student at this very exclusive boarding school there, the Thornton Academy. And so she's bumping up against people who are, you know, billionaires probably, and Hollywood elite. And so that's kind of, it's a classic town versus gown arrangement, because the people in the Airstream Park and the locals who run the cafes and the restaurants along the boardwalk are, you know, kind of the locals versus, you know, the incoming, you know, glitterati. And so I love to set up the drama of that. And as I was writing this book, are you guys familiar with the Murdoch murders? that guy in
Yes.
South Carolina, and
Yeah.
it's very dramatic. But one of the things that happened even before the Murdoch murders in that town was the son, the one, I think it's the one that ultimately got killed, but when he was a reckless teenager, they went joyriding in a boat. And 5 of them were flung from a boat at night, and one went missing, and ultimately she, her body was recovered. And so I had a similar incident with the school kids, and it was the privileged kids, joyriding and thinking, nothing could bother them. And sure enough, they get in trouble in that way. And it brings the tension back into the town. So
Yeah.
pretty small.
There's just so much here that just feels so, I mean, it's a riveting story. It's a page turner, but there are so many little themes that just feel so relevant to everything that's going on today. I just adored it. Everybody, you need to go get Welcome to Beach Town. I know summer's over, but you can extend it a little longer by reading this book. But guess what? You know what? So Susan Wiggs is way cooler than we are. She serves, she has better glasses, and she writes faster. So Susan, you have another book coming out. Tell us, I mean, you're just, you're sparking on all your plugs, darling.
Oh.
So tell us what's next for you.
Thank you for this opportunity. I actually today, like this moment, I have a fan favorite reissue. They just put a beautiful cover.
Oh, so fun.
Guess what? A beach book. It's called Just Breathe. It was out a long time ago. It hasn't been in print for a while. And so
so great.
But
You have to keep extending your summer until
October 17, we have The 12 Dogs of Christmas. My
Love
first
it.
book in like 10 years. I haven't had a Christmas book out in a while. And this one just came to me because in the fall of 2021, I rescued 2 puppies, one from Texas and one from California. And I learned about the process of transferring dogs from a shelter in one place to another. And so they are transported from Texas to a small snowbound town at Christmas in upstate New York called Avalon on the shores of Willow Lake. I have a series of books that take place there. So it's a Lakeshore Chronicles book, it's a Christmas book, and it's got 12 dogs in it. And yeah, in fact, the banner that they made for my Facebook or Twitter page, one of those was missing a dog. There were only 11, and so they corrected it. I was so grateful.
Thank heaven.
12 dogs.
What a lost puppy.
Oh my gosh.
Christmas.
Well, you guys, I mean, between Welcome to Beach Town, Just Breathe, and The 12 Dogs of Christmas, you could go on a Susan Wiggs binge. And then you'd want to get into all her backlist too, but definitely start with this. You can't go wrong. Susan, thanks so much for joining us on the 10 minute.
Oh my God, Rachel, Marie, and Katherine, you are definitely, the bright spot in my day. I love that I got to come here and visit with you.
We are so happy to spend this time with you. Thank you.
Yes, thanks so much. And guys, you know what? Thank you for joining us here on the 10 Minute Book Talk. We're here every week. Tell your friends, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Bye.
For now.